had 24 hours in Madrid, what would you do? Today, I'll take you from morning coffee with kings to dancing the night away with flamenco. This is Madrid in a single day, so let's dive in. Vamos! Best time to visit. Madrid has its own rhythm, and it's best experienced when the city slows just enough for you to enjoy it. The sweet spot comes in spring and fall from April to June, and again from September to early November, when the air is warm but comfortable around 72 degrees Fahrenheit or 22 degrees Celsius. Outdoor cafes spill onto the sidewalks, Retiro Park glows green, and the evening tapas scene feels effortless. Summer brings a sharper heat, often climbing past 95 degrees Fahrenheit or 35 degrees Celsius, while winter cools to around 50 degrees Fahrenheit or 10 degrees Celsius. Still, even in December, the city shines under its Christmas lights, and Plaza Mayor's market becomes a festive escape. For ideal sightseeing weather, lighter crowds, and perfect evening strolls, late spring or early autumn is your best bet. Airport tips. Most travelers arrive through Adolfo Suarez Madrid-Barajas Airport, about 8 miles or 13 kilometers from the city center. Getting downtown is fast and simple. The Metro Line 8 connects all terminals to Nuevos Ministerios station in about 25 minutes, and the ticket costs roughly $6, including the airport fee. If you prefer staying above ground, the Airport Express bus runs 24 hours a day and takes about 40 minutes to reach Atocha station for the same fare. Taxis follow a fixed flat rate of around $35 to central Madrid, while rideshare apps such as Uber and Bolt work seamlessly here too. For daytime arrivals, the metro is the most efficient. Late-night travelers or anyone carrying heavy luggage will find taxis worth the cost. Where to stay? Madrid is a city full of moods, and each neighborhood tells its own story. For first-time travelers, Sol Gran Via is the heart of everything. Puerta del Sol, the big shops, and endless nightlife all within walking distance. Expect rooms to be between $150 to $250 per night, while luxury picks like Gran Hotel Ingles start closer to $350. If you're after trendier cafes and creative energy, Malasana delivers that younger bohemian vibe for around $120 to $200 per night. For pure history and charm, Madrid de las Asturias surrounds you with the Royal Palace, Plaza Mayor, and San Miguel Market, where boutique stays run around $100 to $180. Food lovers will be the happiest in La Latina, lined with tapas bars and warm local energy. Meanwhile, art enthusiasts can base themselves in Paseo del Arte between the Prado Museum and Retiro Park, where elegant hotels like Radisson Red or NH Madrid Nacional begin near $220. How to get around. Madrid rewards walkers. The streets between Sol, Gran Via, and Plaza Mayor were made for wandering. But when you want speed, the Madrid Metro is unbeatable. It's clean, reliable, and covers nearly every corner of the city. A single ticket costs about $2, while a 10-journey card runs about $15. For non-stop exploring, the one-day unlimited transport pass, roughly $10, includes buses, metros, and suburban trains. Taxis and rideshares like Uber or Bolt are easy to find, usually under $10 for short central trips. Electric scooters and rental bikes add a fun, flexible way to move between landmarks. With its compact layout, tree-lined boulevards, and endless cafes to pause at, Madrid feels built for exploration, step by step, ride by ride. One day in Madrid, royal splendor, art, and flamenco soul. Morning, breakfast at Café de Oriente. Begin the day at Café de Oriente, an elegant spot in Plaza de Oriente with direct views of the royal palace. Located inside the former convent of San Gil, the cafe keeps part of its original stone arches, giving the space a quiet, historic charm. Mornings here are relaxed and refined. Order a café con leche or hot chocolate with a fresh croissant or a Spanish omelet, or try a moleta, toasted bread with tomato and jamón iberico. Everything is freshly prepared and beautifully served, whether you sit indoors or out on the terrace overlooking the square. Breakfast typically costs between $15 and $20 per person, making this a polished yet easy start to your day before heading straight to the Royal Palace across the plaza. Tour the Royal Palace of Madrid. Just steps from the Café Oriente stands the Royal Palace of Madrid. the city's most majestic landmark and one of Europe's grandest royal residences. Built in the 18th century on the site of Madrid's former Alcazar, which was destroyed by fire in 1734, the new palace was commissioned by King Philip V and completed during the reign of Charles III. Covering 1.4 million square feet, it's officially the largest royal palace in Europe and is still used today for state ceremonies. A visit here gives a vivid glimpse into Spain's royal past, with around 3,000 rooms, each richly decorated with chandeliers, gilded ceilings, and priceless works of art. Inside, highlights include the grand staircase, the throne room, the chamber of Charles III, the porcelain cabinet, and the gala dining room. The palace also houses the Royal Chapel, Stradivarius Hall, and an extensive collection of frescoes, sculptures, furniture, musical instruments, china, and the royal jewels, crown, and scepter. Designed by Italian architects Filippo Juvara and Giovanni Battista Sacchetti, the building blends Baroque grandeur with classical symmetry, and its facades overlook both the city center and the Campo del Moro gardens below. It's nearly twice the size of Buckingham Palace, which gives a sense of its scale. Entry costs about $20, while a palace and gallery visit together will cost you an extra $8. The guided visit is also available for $30 and takes around 2 hours. Insider tip: if you're an EU or Latin American citizen, you can skip the entry fee by visiting during the free entry hours available Monday through Thursday in the late afternoon. Just be sure to check the seasonal hours and arrive early, as lines can get long. Late morning, Campo del Moro Gardens. Just behind the Royal Palace lies one of Madrid's most peaceful green spaces, the Campo del Moro Gardens. Reached by a gentle 20-minute walk around the back of the palace, past Plaza de Oriente, the path opens to wide lawns, fountains, and shaded tree-lined avenues. The gardens were first planned under Philip II in the 16th century, though their current design took shape in the 19th century during the reign of Queen Isabella II. The name Campo del Moro, Field of the Moor, recalls a 13th century legend when Muslim troops camped here during their attempt to recapture the fortress of Madrid. Covering about 20 hectares, the park follows the English landscape style with open lawns, winding paths, and 2 striking fountains, the Shell Fountain and the Triton Fountain. Both moved here from earlier royal gardens. It's a quiet, elegant place filled with mature chestnut and cedar trees, and you might even spot a peacock crossing the grass. Entry is free, and the calm setting makes it the perfect pause after exploring the grandeur of the royal palace. Late morning, Almudena Cathedral. Just across from the royal palace, in Plaza de la Almeria, stands the Catedral de la Almudena, Madrid's main cathedral and one of the city's most talked about landmarks. Construction began back in 1883, but it wasn't completed until 1993 when it was finally consecrated by Pope John Paul II. The cathedral is dedicated to Our Lady of Almudena, Madrid's patron saint, and combines a neoclassical exterior that mirrors the royal palace with a neo-Gothic interior designed by architect Fernando Chueca Goitia. Its ceiling is painted in bold, colorful geometric patterns, a modern touch that many find striking and others find controversial. Unlike most cathedrals that face east, this one faces south toward the palace, creating a visual dialogue between Spain's spiritual and royal heritage. For €7 or about $8, you can head up to the dome for sweeping panoramic views over Madrid and then visit the small cathedral museum below. Beneath the main structure lies a neo-Romanesque crypt, supported by over 400 columns where members of noble Spanish families rest. Afternoon. Lunch at Mercado de San Miguel. A short walk from the Royal Palace leads you into the lively Mercado de San Miguel, Madrid's best-known food market. Opened in 1916 as a neighborhood food hall and restored in 2009, it's one of the last surviving iron and glass markets in the city, a design inspired by Les Halles in Paris. Inside, more than 30 gourmet stalls tempt you with flavors from across Spain and a few from abroad. It's always crowded, and finding a table takes some patience, but that's part of the charm. To start your experience, I recommend grabbing a glass of chilled cava or local wine before you begin browsing the stalls. Most people simply stand by the window bar, enjoy a glass of vermouth, rioja, or cava, and soak in the market's energy. Sample a mix of Spanish cheeses, thin-sliced jamón iberico, olives, pela, and fresh bread, or try something a little different like Galician octopus, Basque pinchos, or even a seaweed salad or slice of Italian pizza. Before leaving, treat yourself to something sweet as well. I recommend the colorful Madre Amiga pastry stall, famous for its beautiful cakes and pastries. Prices vary by stall, but a satisfying tapas-style lunch usually runs $15 to $25 per person. Insider tip: if you'd rather explore Madrid's food scene with a local, you're in luck, because the city offers a fantastic array of highly rated guided experiences. Consider joining one of the city's excellent food tours, and I specifically recommend a tapas and wine experience as a fun way to dive into the local culture. Plaza Mayor. Right after you finish at the market, take a stroll around Plaza Mayor and soak up the buzz of Madrid's true main square. This magnificent space was once the vibrant center of Old Madrid, and it still feels like the heart of the city today. This iconic plaza is ringed by charming little shops, cafes, and restaurants. Standing proud right in the center is the impressive equestrian statue of King Felipe III on his horse. This is a great spot to pop into a souvenir shop to pick something authentic, whether you want a piece of Spanish ceramic, a colorful flamenco fan, or maybe even a football jersey to remember your day. Insider tip: if your visit happens to be in November or December, you are in for a special treat. The square hosts an absolutely adorable Christmas market, complete with festive lights, a towering tree, and stalls selling decorations, nativity figurines, and toys. It's an essential festive stop. Late afternoon, Prado Museum. Once you've soaked up the historic charm of Plaza Mayor, it's time to head east toward the Prado Museum, Spain's most celebrated art gallery and home to one of Europe's greatest collections of classical paintings. Located along Paseo del Prado, it forms part of Madrid's Golden Triangle of Art, together with the Reina Sofia and Thyssen-Bornemisza museums. Inside its neoclassical halls, you'll trace centuries of artistry through some of the most influential works ever created. The museum also features an exceptional collection of Italian masters displayed alongside works by El Greco, Rubens, Titian, and Raphael. Each gallery focuses on a single artist, allowing you to see their work evolve across themes and time periods. You'll also find a celebrated room dedicated to Bosch and his dark, imaginative works that remain among the Prado's most memorable displays. When inside, prioritize the essential Spanish masters. You must see Velázquez's undisputed masterpiece, Las Meninas, and Goya's powerfully emotional The 3rd of May, 1808. They are the collection's most famous works. Give yourself at least 2 hours here to see the essentials, though even with a full day, you'd barely scratch the surface. The museum is enormous, and it's easy to lose track of time wandering between centuries of art. A self-guided ticket costs around $17.50, and if you want a little more context, you can add an audio guide for $6 more, or upgrade to a full guided tour, which is just $12 extra on top of your general admission. I recommend buying tickets online to save time at the door. The museum opens daily from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., except on Sunday when it closes a bit early at 7 p.m. There's over 7,000 paintings in its collection, with about 1,300 on display, so make sure to grab the highlights map at the entrance to make the most of your visit. The Prado's scale can feel overwhelming, but that's part of the magic. Each gallery reveals another piece of Spain's artistic legacy. Insider tip: looking to save those entry dollars? The Prado Museum offers free admission daily during the final 2 operating hours, though you must arrive early, often an hour before, to brave the long queue. Late afternoon, El Retiro Park. If the sun is shining, you must make your way to El Retiro Park. This spot is Madrid's absolute favorite place to slow down for a while. What was once a vast royal garden is now the city's green heart. It's more than 300 acres of beautiful, tree-lined paths, fountains, and vibrant flowers. You'll likely enter through the impressive Puerta de Alcalá, which makes for a stunning visual start to your visit. you'll want to start by strolling through a selection of incredible formal areas like the Jardins de Arquitecto Herrero Palacios, the Jardín de Vivaces, and the Jardines de Parterre Frances, before following the path to the spectacular Rosaleda, where hundreds of roses bloom in every possible shade of red and pink. Right nearby, the Jardines de Cecilio Rodriguez adds a touch of formal elegance with beautifully tiled fountains and, if you're lucky, the occasional peacock wandering by. Don't miss the Fountain of the Fallen Angel. It's one of the park's most unique sculptures and is famously positioned exactly 666 meters above sea level. Keep walking until you reach the Estanque Grande del Retiro, the large central boating lake. You can easily rent a small rowboat here. It's what the locals do all the time, and glide past the grand monument of Alfonso XII. Once you're done, grab a drink on the terrace at Florida Park, which is tucked away under the trees nearby. Before you leave the park, be sure to stop by the Crystal Palace. Built back in 1887, this elegant glass pavilion glows beautifully when the late afternoon light pours through its walls. Step inside for a few quiet moments. It's one of those spots that forces you to pause and take a deep breath without even realizing it. This is definitely the spot for photos, so be sure to take advantage of the perfect afternoon light. The best part? Entry is free, and by this time of day, the park feels incredibly calm and open, like the entire city is slowing down just for you. Evening, dinner at Inclán Brutal. Ready for dinner? I've got a truly unique spot lined up for you, Inclán Brutal. Just walk down the narrow Alejon del Gato, and this unforgettable dining experience will be waiting. The restaurant pays tribute to Ramón María del Valle Inclán, the Galician poet who introduced Spain to the grotesque style of storytelling. The entire place embraces that theme: dramatic lighting, playful details, and dishes that are just as bold as the decor. Expect a theatrical meal from start to finish. One cocktail might show up inside the sculpted head of a comic book villain, while another dish could arrive hidden under a swirl of dry ice. Even the classics have a twist, like patatas bravas served in a quirky bowl shaped like a sprouting potato. Beyond the theatrical flair, the flavors are excellent, featuring innovative twists on traditional Spanish favorites like beloved croquetas and the famous Spanish tortilla. It's a whole vibe, and it's loved by both travelers and madrileños alike. Expect a full dinner here to cost between $30 to $50 a person. For your order, I highly recommend the octopus and scallops. They are incredibly delicious, and if you have room for dessert, you must try the cheesecake, which is guaranteed to arrive with a show-stopping theatrical presentation. Dinner here feels more like a performance than just a meal. Late evening, flamenco show. To conclude your day in Madrid, you'll immerse yourself in the power of a traditional flamenco performance. Attending this is a cultural necessity. Madrid is considered the world capital of this intensely passionate art form, and you're about to see the best performers of this UNESCO-recognized heritage. You'll find yourself in a close-quarters venue known as a tablao, the specialized flamenco theater. This intimate space is a powerful gateway into a truly moving Spanish experience. Watch as the stage ignites with a full company of dancers, a guitar player, a vocalist, and a drummer, all channeling deep emotion into their rhythm. For a recommendation, I was personally captivated by the passion and skill during the one-hour show at Essential Flamenco. The scheduling is designed for tourists, making it easy to fit into your evening. They offer performances daily at 6 p.m., 7:30 p.m., and 9 p.m. This fiery spectacle is the perfect emotional curtain for your Madrid adventure. That's a full day in Madrid, and what a day it is! Art, food, history, and music all wrapped into one unforgettable experience? This city has a way of making you feel at home while constantly surprising you at every turn. If you enjoyed this guide, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more travel itineraries just like this one. And if you're planning more adventures in Spain, be sure to check out our videos on Barcelona and Valencia next.